What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, this weekend we got Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Jordan Leavitt. Paddy said Jordan is an absolute crab. I have no idea what that means. And Leavitt said the objective is simple. Show up, win, twerk, head home. So what do you make of this fight?
I like it. I like how Jordan Leavitt's coming in with just as much confidence as Paddy the Baddy. These guys are both very entertaining characters for two totally separate reasons. Jordan Leavitt's like this complete opposite version of what fighters usually seem like they are, and Paddy the Baddy is like this guy that's also not like a lot of fighters you see on the roster, but he's really compelling, super fun to watch, and it feels like the right two characters are in there. I think it's a good step up in competition for Paddy, but it's also not biting off more than he can chew.
Yeah, I think it's a really good fight. I'm very surprised that Jordan Leavitt is a 3-1 underdog and Paddy's a 4-1 favorite. I expected it to be a little bit closer than that, but you're absolutely right about both of these guys being a character. And I think the only descriptive word we could use for Jordan Leavitt is flamboyant. I mean, he does things like twerk in the octagon. He's very open about his emotions. He's one of those guys, and I think he's a breath of fresh air in the UFC because it's a very machismo sport, especially in the male divisions, and Jordan Leavitt is not that, but he's also an ass kicker at the same time. And then Paddy the Baddy looks like he came straight out of a Harry Potter movie. I mean, with the haircut, the bangs, the Baddy bangs, as you dubbed them, which I think is a great nickname. These two guys are, when you think of like what a cage fighter looks like, you think about somebody like Anthony Lionheart Smith, Ruthless Robbie Lawler, Rampage Jackson,
Cody No Love.
Exactly, yeah. Cody Garbrandt. But when you see Jordan Leavitt and Paddy the Baddy, they don't fit that mold at all, but make no mistake about it, both of these guys can throw down, and both of their strengths is their grappling. And so it's interesting because Jordan Leavitt has come out and said, yes, Paddy has a lot of submissions on his record. I will concede that. But Paddy also comes from Cage Warriors, which is a fighting organization that typically has fights put on from fighters in the England, Ireland, Scotland region of the world, European fighters, and they are not known for their grappling prowess, which he is absolutely right in that regard. We've seen some absolute striking phenoms come out of Cage Warriors, Conor McGregor being the #1 guy in that category, but there are not a lot of high-level grapplers competing in Cage Warriors compared to the striking. So he's right in that regard. Also, Paddy Pimblett is saying that Jordan Leavitt has beaten essentially nobody. He's only ever fought at the Apex. He has no idea what fighting in front of a big crowd like this is going to be like, and he says that he's going to dispose of Leavitt pretty easily.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think Leavitt is a game fighter, even though he doesn't seem like a rough around the edges type of guy. I do think that he's game and he's going to show up and give Paddy all that he can handle. My issue is I think that Jordan Leavitt lacks a little bit on the striking. I think that his ground game is great. I think he's a tough competitor when he can get the fight where he wants it. But Paddy hits hard, and I know he does get hit a little bit, but he hits hard, and he pushes forward through those firefights that he's been in. Just so far in the UFC, he's been in nothing but firefights. So Jordan Leavitt's going to have a storm to deal with, and I don't know if he's going to come out the other end. I personally see a lopsided advantage for Paddy the Baddy when it comes to striking and when it comes to speed. And I think those two things are what is going to really throw Jordan Leavitt off. If he doesn't come out just as fast as Paddy right at the beginning, I could see this ending in a first-round finish for Paddy the Baddy. You know, he's got his country on his side. He's got all this momentum. He's got to deal with Barstool. He's one of the biggest, maybe the top 5 biggest names as new prospects in the entire UFC right now. People want to see him do well. And while people don't want to see Jordan Leavitt do poorly, they just don't know about him near as much as people know about Paddy the Baddy. So I do think that this is a little bit of a stepping stone. It's a great test for Paddy the Baddy, but in my opinion, I do see him getting his hand raised at the end of this one.
Yeah, I think so, because I think the jiu-jitsu skill is going to be relatively the same. If you do want to give an advantage to Leavitt because he's got, a better pedigree of grappling, okay, fine, we can do that. But also a case could be made for Paddy having equal or better jiu-jitsu skills himself. So I think that's going to kind of be a wash there. I think the ground game is going to be equal for all intents and purposes. And then it becomes a matter of, can Jordan Leavitt do enough on the feet to win rounds or knock Paddy out? I certainly don't think he can do enough to knock Paddy out. Jordan Leavitt's not known for his power in his hands. He's known for his grappling. And so then you talk about having to go 15 minutes with Paddy Pimblett, and I think that Paddy would have the advantage there. Also, Paddy, his striking is not clean like somebody else in the division. You would say like a Rafael Fiziev or somebody that's got this really crisp striking and super accurate. He's more of a brawler. He's more of a banger. But when he does connect, he does throw with some serious power. His problem is he lends himself to getting hit from time to time. On the same token, I don't think Jordan Leavitt Leavitt's going to be able to hit him hard enough to knock him out. So I think Paddy will be willing to take one to give two, so to speak, and I am calling a second round Paddy Pimblett knockout.
Yeah, see, I think Paddy's going to get it done, but in the first round. I think he's going to come out and just overwhelm Jordan Leavitt with the intensity and the volume that he brings. I mean, if you look back at his last fight, it was a one-round fight, and it was very, very interesting from the time it started to the ended. And he was losing that round against a guy who, in my opinion, was a better, more crisp striker. But as soon as he was able to land, that power did show through, and he was able to close the night out pretty quickly thereafter. You're exactly right. Jordan Leavitt isn't really a threat on the feet, and I do think that if Jordan Leavitt comes in there and tries to throw with Paddy, it's going to be a quick night for Paddy. He's going to get him out of there pretty easily and go celebrate in the pub with Dave Portnoy and whoever else goes out there to represent Barstool. But if Jordan Leavitt can keep a distance game and slow the pace of the fight down, then he's got a chance to actually take this fight where he wants it. Maybe it's up against the cage. Maybe it's on the ground. You know, let's see. I'd love to see these two guys go at it sort of on the ground and let their jiu-jitsu speak for themselves, because I do think that would be a lot of fun and be a different type of look for people. Everybody says they want to see fighters go out there and knock each other out, but time and time again, we see duds get handed to us that aren't exciting fights to stay standing up. And then we see some really awesome fights that happen mostly on the ground. So I don't see this fight going to the ground. I think Jordan's going to have his hands full and he's going to wind up getting knocked out in the first round. But it would be cool to see that. And I do think that you've got two great characters that are going to bring quite a fun show to London. The energy of the crowd just last time they were in London was kind of electric. You could almost feel it from sitting on your couch. And I can't wait to see that again because I have a feeling they're going to recreate it.
I think so. Guys, drop us a comment. Is it going to be the Monkey King or is it going to be Paddy the Baddy who gets their hand raised at the end of this one? If you're new here, we talk all things combat sports. So if that's your jam, we appreciate a subscribe to the channel and smash that like button on the video. See you next time.
Peace.